Every morning, an older man came into the small restaurant where I worked. He always arrived a few minutes after 7, chose the same table near the window, and ordered the same thing. His name was Mr. Bennett. I learned his name from the bank card he sometimes used, but for the first few weeks, I knew almost nothing else about him. He appeared to be in his late 70s. He wore a clean brown coat in winter, a light jacket in spring, and the same dark hat almost every day. He walked slowly but never asked for help. He always carried a folded newspaper under one arm and placed it carefully beside his plate. His breakfast never changed. He ordered black coffee, 2 pieces of toast, and 1 boiled egg. He did not want butter, sugar, or anything extra. Even when we added new meals to the menu, he continued to order the same thing. At first, he was only another regular customer. The restaurant opened at 6:30 in the morning, and I usually worked the first shift. Most early customers were in a hurry. Office workers checked their phones while they ate. Taxi drivers drank coffee quickly and left. Parents bought food for children on the way to school. Mr. Bennett was different. He never seemed to be in a hurry. He ate slowly, read the newspaper, and looked through the window as the street became busy. He stayed for about 40 minutes every morning. Then he folded the newspaper, cleaned the small pieces of toast from the table with a napkin, paid, and left. After a few months, I began to prepare his breakfast as soon as I saw him crossing the street. By the time he reached the counter, the coffee was often ready. He noticed this and always smiled. We did not have long conversations. He was quiet, and the restaurant became crowded quickly after 7. Still, I became used to seeing him come every morning. His visit became part of the daily rhythm. The cook started boiling an extra egg before he arrived. I filled his cup without needing to check the order. Another worker placed the newspaper stand closer to his table because he sometimes forgot to bring his own copy. When the restaurant was busy, I tried to save a seat near the window for him. I knew he preferred that place because the morning light was softer there. Sometimes another customer sat at the table before Mr. Bennett arrived. On those days, he chose a different seat without complaining, but he often looked toward the window. I started placing a small reserve sign on the table for a few minutes before 7. The manager noticed, but she did not object because Mr. Bennett had been coming to the restaurant for years. One morning, a woman about 60 years old came with him. She seemed to be his daughter. She helped him remove his coat and made sure he had his medicine before breakfast. That was the first time I realized he might have health problems. The woman ordered tea, but Mr. Bennett ordered the same thing as always: black coffee, toast, and 1 boiled egg. They stayed longer than usual. While they sat together, he looked happier and more active. The woman showed him photos on her phone, and he laughed several times. After that day, he returned alone. Weeks passed. Winter became spring, and I continued to see him come every morning. Some days he looked tired. Other days he seemed strong enough to walk around the neighborhood after breakfast. I began to notice small changes. He sometimes forgot where he had placed his hat. Once, he tried to pay twice because he did not remember that he had already paid. Another time, he left his newspaper and did not return for it until the next morning. None of these moments seemed serious by themselves. People forget things. I forgot things too. Still, I began to pay closer attention. One morning, Mr. Bennett arrived without his coat, even though the weather was cold. His hands were shaking, and he looked confused. He stood near the entrance for several seconds as if he did not recognize the restaurant. I walked toward him and guided him to his usual table. After sitting down, he slowly became calmer. I brought the same breakfast, and he seemed to remember where he was. That day, I wanted to check on someone from his family, but I had no phone number. I also worried that I might be crossing a personal boundary. Mr. Bennett had never asked us to take care of him. When his daughter returned 2 weeks later, I paid attention to her name when she used her card. Her first name was Anna. I considered speaking to her about the changes I had noticed, but the restaurant was crowded, and I did not find the right moment. I told myself I could mention it the next time she came. Then Mr. Bennett stopped coming. The first morning he did not show up. I thought nothing of it. Perhaps he had a doctor's appointment or wanted to eat at home. I removed the reserve sign from the table at 7:15 and gave the seat to another customer. The second morning, he did not show up again. The cook asked whether Mr. Bennett was away. I said I did not know. On the third morning, I began to feel worried. He had come every morning for as long as I had worked there. He had appeared during heavy rain, winter snow, and public holidays. Even when he was sick, he usually missed only one day. Now 3 mornings had passed. I checked the newspaper stand and found the copy he liked. I looked through the window several times, expecting to see the brown coat and dark hat crossing the street. He did not come. By the 5th day, the empty table near the window felt wrong. I asked my manager whether the restaurant had any contact information for him. She checked the old customer records but found nothing. He had never made a reservation or joined our rewards program. We knew his name, but not his address. I considered calling local hospitals, but I knew they would not share private information with a restaurant employee. I searched online for his name, but there were too many people with the same name. Then I remembered something. Several months earlier, Mr. Bennett had left a small envelope on the table. I had kept it in the office drawer because I thought it might be important. He had collected it the next day, but before returning it, I had noticed the name of a pharmacy on the front. The pharmacy was only 4 blocks away. During my lunch break, I walked there. I did not expect the pharmacist to give me personal information. I only wanted to explain that a regular customer had not shown up and ask whether there was a safe way to check on someone. The pharmacist recognized Mr. Bennett's name. She also knew his daughter because she collected his medicine. She could not tell me where he lived or discuss his health, but she agreed to contact Anna and pass along my concern. I returned to work feeling slightly better. At least someone from his family would know that he had not been seen. That afternoon, Anna came to the restaurant. She looked tired and upset. She explained that her father lived alone in an apartment not far away. She usually called him every evening, but she had been traveling for work and had not reached him for 2 days. She thought his phone battery had died, or that he had forgotten to charge it. When the pharmacist contacted her and explained that he had not come for breakfast all week, she became worried. She asked whether anyone from the restaurant had seen him after his last visit. No one had. Anna decided to go to his apartment immediately. I finished my shift in 20 minutes, and I asked my manager whether I could leave a little early. She agreed. I did not want Anna to go alone. We walked quickly through the neighborhood. Mr. Bennett lived in an older apartment building on a quiet street. Anna had a spare key, but when we reached the door, we heard a television playing inside. She called for him, but there was no answer. She opened the door. We found Mr. Bennett sitting on the floor beside his bed. He was awake, but very weak. A glass of water had fallen nearby, and his phone was on a table across the room. He had tried to get out of bed several days earlier, lost his balance, and fallen. He had not broken a bone, but he could not stand without help. Because he lived alone, no one had known. Anna called emergency services. While we waited, I brought him water and covered him with a blanket. He seemed confused at first, but when he recognized me, he relaxed. The medical team arrived quickly and took him to the hospital. A doctor later explained that he was dehydrated and had an infection. If he had remained alone much longer, the situation could have become far more serious. For the rest of the day, I kept thinking about the empty table near the window. His absence had seemed small at first. One missed breakfast did not look like an emergency. But because he came every morning, not showing up was a sign that something had changed. The next week, Anna visited the restaurant again. She explained that her father was recovering in the hospital. He would not be able to live alone for a while, so she was arranging for him to stay with her. She thanked us for noticing that he had not shown up. I felt uncomfortable accepting too much thanks. I had waited several days before doing anything. I wondered whether I should have tried to check on him sooner. Anna explained that most people would not have noticed at all. Her father had lived alone for years, and his daily breakfast was one of the few routines that connected him to other people. That thought stayed with me. The restaurant was not only a place where he ordered food, it was part of his support system, even though none of us had understood that before. After Mr. Bennett left the hospital, he did not return immediately. For almost a month, the table near the window remained empty at 7 in the morning. I stopped placing the reserved sign there, but I still looked toward the street whenever the door opened. Then, one Saturday, Anna arrived with him. Mr. Bennett used a walking stick and moved more slowly than before. His daughter stayed close beside him. When he entered, the entire morning team noticed. The cook prepared the usual breakfast. I saved a seat near the window. Mr. Bennett sat down, looked around the restaurant, and smiled. He still ordered the same thing: black coffee, 2 pieces of toast, and 1 boiled egg. That morning, he did not read the newspaper. He spent most of the time watching people move through the restaurant. He seemed to understand that everyone was happy to see him. After that, he came once or twice a week instead of every day. Anna usually came with him. On other mornings, a home care worker helped him with breakfast at his daughter's house. His routine had changed, but he was no longer alone. The experience also changed the restaurant. My manager created a small list for regular older customers who wanted to share an emergency contact. It was optional, and the information was kept private. We made it clear that the restaurant was not a medical service, but if someone with a strong daily routine suddenly disappeared, we could contact a family member. We also became more aware of customers who spent most of their time alone. There was a woman who came for tea every afternoon. There was a retired bus driver who ate lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There was an older couple who shared 1 piece of cake every Sunday. I began to understand that routines create quiet relationships. We may not know everything about the people we see each day. We may not visit their homes or meet their families. Still, we notice when they are present, and sometimes we notice when they are gone. Months later, Mr. Bennett gave the restaurant a framed photograph. It showed him and his late wife sitting at the same table near the window many years earlier. Anna explained that they had started coming to the restaurant together after they moved into the neighborhood. After his wife died, he continued to come every morning because the place reminded him of her. That was why he always wanted the same seat. It was also why he ordered the same thing. His wife had chosen that breakfast for him because she believed it was simple and healthy. Continuing the habit made him feel connected to the life they had shared. The photograph now hangs near the table. Before meeting Mr. Bennett, I thought taking care of people required a close relationship. I believed we could only help family members and close friends. Now I know that care can begin with attention. It can mean saving a seat. It can mean remembering that someone always orders the same thing. It can mean feeling worried when they do not show up. Sometimes it means finding a careful way to check on someone instead of assuming everything is fine. I also learned that regular customers may depend on familiar places more than we realize. A restaurant worker may be the first person they see that day. A simple greeting may be their only social contact. A table near the window may hold years of memory. Mr. Bennett still visits when his health allows it. He no longer comes every morning, but when he does, we prepare his coffee before he sits down. We save a seat near the window. He orders the same thing. And every time I see him, I remember the week when the table stayed empty and taught me that noticing someone can sometimes help save them. Taking care does not always begin with a large action. Sometimes it begins with knowing a person's routine, seeing that something has changed, and deciding that their absence matters.